One of the louder voices calling for greater political union in the Eurozone is Indrawati Mulyani. She is one of the 3 managing directors under President Robert Zoellick at the World Bank. She joins us now from St. Petersburg. Nice to have you with us. Christine Lagarde's got a long shopping list of what Europe now needs to deliver. Is Germany at fault here? Does Germany need to deliver more? Is Merkel wrong?
Well, basically the choice is becoming very limited because the confidence in the banking system is very low at this time. And that's why for the policymaker, especially, I think they are waiting for the powerful economy in Europe in order to give a certainty, not only in terms of direction, but also in the willingness to actually integrate the banking union, fiscal union, then eventually is the political union.
How frustrated are the emerging markets in all of this? We hear a lot about what Europe needs to do from other countries. Is this going to really be a sore point for economies which are trying to grow and which are not decoupled yet?
Well, the risk coming from Europe is definitely reducing the growth prospect in 2012. And maybe even continue into 2013. We see it whether this is channeling from the trade, the weakening of the export, or even then on the commodity price. We also see it from the financial channel in which both investment and trade financing has been reduced, and that can be severely affected both in the Eastern Europe, in Latin America, in Asia even. And then also to some area, to some region, to some country which is dealing or depending more on remittance and tourism, they also hurt quite significantly. So yes, a lot of emerging and developing countries actually now have to revise down their economic growth, and that means the unemployment is not going to be reduced, and they have to prepare whether they still have a space to do the counter-cyclical.
The emerging market is much more exposed to the US economy than it is to Europe. There is evidence, the data are slowing in the US economy, and many would argue that the Fed needs to go further. What is your view?
Well, there is quite a lot of volatility. I mean, if you see the rhetoric as well as the statement by policymakers last year when they are very worried with the appreciation of their currency in many emerging countries. This year, because of the uncertainty, especially coming from the first quarter and the starting of the second quarter of 2012, there is a capital outflow in many emerging countries, and you see the depreciation of the currency. There is a concern about, of course, liquidity, because if you recall back in 2008, that's exactly actually what hurt first. For many emerging countries, although they have a very strong foundation and fundamentals, they are going to be hurt by this lack of liquidity. So definitely the assurance that there will be an adequate liquidity by central bank, especially from the US and from the European, is going to help to ease those risks.
And so has stimulus in the US so far worked?
Well, it is going to be quite mixed, because I think the U.S. economy is really depend also from the external demand, especially for the big country like Europe and China. So you cannot actually say that the policymaker has a full control of what they can actually design their policy goal. Because even if you talk about growth target, for the economy which is open and connected, whether this is through trade or financial, they are going to be severely affected by the situation of the rest of the world. Even United States, as the largest and biggest economy in the world, they are still depend, for example, with Europe or even Asia in a way which is actually going to affect their performance. So the counter